Hey, this is Dan here from Rune Silk, and I'm joined by one other, and that's none other than Damo for show, and this is the Beardmail podcast. So sit back, listen, and enjoy.
It's the Beardmail podcast.
Beardmail podcast.
Me, Damo for show, and him.
Broken for show. Broco for show.
Daniel looks a little bit overwhelmed, and we're going to tell you all about why he's overwhelmed and tired and broken, because today on the podcast we are going to be talking about Adventure Time. I know what you're thinking. Isn't that a kids' TV program? No, we mean adventure holidays. We're talking like kayaking, abseiling, whitewater rafting, bungee jumping, like stuff that you go on holiday, but you do a little bit extra. I'm not talking sitting on the beach, sunning your, getting your bronze on. I'm talking like doing activity holiday stuff. And Dan's just come back from a little one. So, Dan, how do you feel?
Broken. Absolutely broken. Like, I'm just tired. Like everything is my soul, my mind, my body. It's absolutely broken. But it was well worth it. It was awesome.
Yeah, you've not done a massive advert for adventure holidays there. I've done a few and I thought they were amazing and I felt enriched and enlightened and brilliant. But you've obviously, are you too old for it? Maybe
I think so. No, it was mega. Like we had an amazing time. I think just my endurance and stamina just got basically put to the limits, tested, destroyed. So the trip that we went on, it was with Keswick Adventures in Cumbria.
I've got a picture of you. Like endurance was just pushed to the absolute max. We had to walk 200 meters from the car to the raft.
Yeah, no, we had to pull up from the front door of the lodge and get in the hot tub. So we didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into. And one of the lads that was on the group with us had absolutely no idea it was happening at all. So half the group went off and met him and his missus at a service station and bundled him in a car and then drove him to Cumbria. And we stayed in this really ridiculous lodge. And we didn't really know what we'd booked ourselves into, but I'll sum it up. I'll tell you all about it, but it gets summed up with this picture here.
I have to hang on a minute. I'm going to zoom in on that for the viewers on the YouTube. Sorry if you're on Spotify, but there's a picture of Dan looking like you look a little bit homeless there, Dan. But you got the proper clobber on.
Huh?
You got the proper clobber on.
Yeah. So looked like a gnome. So we got absolutely hammered. It was one of these. It was an SAS survival weekend thing, but it was like. It was the activities that they usually try and squeeze into a 24-hour session. Or sometimes they obviously drop you off and you do a whole day, but we just did the 10 till 5. And yeah, lots of comfort zones were smashed and safety zones were approached. And it was kicking. We got a kicking, absolute kicking.
So let me get this right, because I might have misinterpreted this. I thought you'd gone away for a nice holiday in the lakes or something, and I thought you're going to be doing a bit of canoeing, a bit of abseiling. But now you're telling me you've done a 7-hour extreme SAS. Is it just like a one-day adventure you've done? Right,
yeah,
so where was it? What's the company? Give them a shout out.
Keswick Adventures. Shout out. Keswick Adventures. It was awesome, absolutely incredible day. Like we had the company owner Lee basically took our squad out. Basically, picture this: get bundled into a minivan. You get off. They put you in. You've got all this gear on, all the army gear and that. Then they put the goggles on top of your head, which are all duct taped up, so you can't see anything. You can see light, but you can't see anything.
Yeah.
They got us in a massive lineup, all holding on to each other's bags. And just walked us through.
You sure it was a bag you were holding on to?
It was underneath bag. Bearing in mind though, one of the lads on the trip broke a rib on the first night getting out of the hot tub. So,
wounded.
So he had to do the whole of this with a broken rib as well. Walked us down these steps, and then they walked for about 10 minutes blindfolded, and then they were like, yeah, you can take them off. And we were on a jetty, and they were like, right, jump in.
Nice.
And then we did some abseiling. And I'm not particularly great at heights.
Let's not miss the jumping in bit. So you're fully clothed.
No, we took our clothes off. They said you've got a choice. Yeah. Not yet. No wetsuit yet. So it's like you choose, jump in with your clothes or take them off. But I would advise you that we've still got 7 hours of the day left.
Yeah, you want to take them off.
So we all stripped down and just jumped in. Then we got dried off.
Dan, I don't like the way you're skipping past this. Everyone has got a vision of you on a jetty, stark bollock naked, probably in some tiny little pair of pants. We need to know who's in the group. How many is it? Girls and boys? Just boys? Is this a lad stag
just
too?
Lads. So no. So it was a weird one. So a friend of mine who came back from Thailand had a pretty rubbish time over the pandemic, moving back to the UK after 10 years. So he's obviously had some bad times, and his missus just wanted to organise something for him because we were all turning the 40s over the next 12 months or so. Some of the group are 40, some of them are turning 40. And it was 8 of us, all schoolmates from secondary school. So these are people that I've known. Some of them I've known since I was 6. Some of them I've known since I was 12. So it was epic just to get everyone together, because some of us we haven't seen each other for like 4 years. So it was real nice.
And the first thing you did was be blindfolded, touch each other, get to the end of a jetty, and then strip down to your pants. Well, I haven't seen you for a while. Nice pants.
The first night we were like, yeah, guys, we should probably take it easy, bearing in mind we know we've got a massive.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah. So we didn't
told this story chronologically, Dan. So you got there the night before, had a load of beers, and then woke up and then did all this.
And then did all that. So I remember getting into bed at about 2:30 in the morning and going, well, that was. I was like, well, totally nailed taking it easy on the Friday night, guys.
Oh,
I took a big 52 pint keg of beer and about 10 litres of cocktail.
So you didn't want to share with anyone, then you just had that for yourself?
Pretty much.
Let's go back to the jetty, right? I want to know how big the drop was. I want to know how cold the water was. I want to know what your package looked like when you got out of the water. Like, was it freezing cold? Like, because Keswick is Lake District,
Cumbria,
right?
Yeah, Lake District, yeah. So the jetty wasn't that high. It was probably about, I don't know, only like a 5 foot drop or something like that.
You can lie down. We established very early on
18 foot, something like that. It's not always
facts. It's not always actual facts. Sometimes we bend the truth a little bit. 18-foot drop,
18-foot drop into like minus 25 degree water. Well, it's what it felt like anyway. Do you know what I mean? So
Wim Hof's down there having a little bath.
Yeah, it was so cold. Honestly, it was so cold. But yeah, so all of us were standing on the bank with our towels around our waists, trying not to reveal how small our penises were at this point.
Said the P word.
So yeah, it's So I'll run through it really quickly, because obviously I don't want to just talk about this trip, but it was flipping awesome. So we did the jump in the water. Then they got us back into the minivan where once we were dressed. Then they took us off to this massive 20-foot abseiling drop.
200-foot abseiling drop. Wow.
Yeah. So this was just obviously just to get a practice drop, because not many of us had abseiled before. So it was just to get you comfortable doing it. But even so, like 20 foot when you're scared of heights is when they're like, just walk backwards, mate. Okay. So we've all done the abseil one by one, and obviously the closer towards the end that you are, or last, you're seeing everyone kind of shit themselves. But then you're kind of like, well, everyone's done it now, so I'm going to have to do it, right? So we got down the bottom there, and then we walked, after everyone had got down, we walked off to, where did we go after that? Oh yeah, man. We walked back round to the bus to pick up a shed ton of tyres. And they were like, right, grab those tyres, let's go. So a big chain of tyres, like 3 tyres on a rope, 2 sets of those, got us to this stream, and we're like, right, you've got to cross the stream with the tyres and all your kit and not get your bag wet. And so your first 3. Say again?
Hashtag team building.
Hashtag team building, yeah, very much so. But the first group were like, yeah, okay, it doesn't look so bad. Walked straight out and just disappeared. They were like, oh, it's deeper than because we were looking at it going, probably won't even need to get undressed for that. It just looks knee deep.
Yeah.
And one of the lads, Fraser, he was like, "Yeah, guys, we should probably just not go head straight into this and probably scope some of it out." And they were like, "Nah, fine," and literally just disappeared. So we discovered then we had to start walking really slowly as a group to try and find the shallower bits to get across. Yeah. And this water was, because it was flowing, it was absolutely freezing.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of clothes on, clothes off, clothes on, clothes off type stuff. Get cold, get hot, get dressed, get cold, get wet, get dressed. We learned a lot about having to pack our bags, using the wet bags and the dry bags and stuff like that, making sure that you've got access to stuff. And then after we've done the get through the lake bit, we've then got to take the tire, we've got to drag the tires all through the woods to get to this water. Like, it was proper mission. I ended up just attaching it to my back and just walking, just ploughing through, like with just pulling the tires. Then the other three would then pick them up and then carry them. And then I would just drag them, and then three people would pick them up, go over the tree roots and stuff like that. And then I'm sure there was something else that happened that I haven't done yet. But then we got an absolute pasting. They were like, "Yeah, we thought we'd try this." They took us to this public park. We got all the paint back on again. That picture of me falling asleep was after this activity. So we did a relay tag team race where you had to go lift a 20-kilo kettlebell, run over to a cargo net that's attached to the floor, get underneath the cargo net, run over to a massive pylon and do a caber flip, like literally like a log flipping. 5 flips of that, then back under the net and tag out. And then once the tag team race was done, they were like, "Right, now you've got to go back and get all the gear as a team." So you had to push the 20-kilo thing through the cargo net, and then go and get the big, massive pylon thing and push all of it back through the cargo net, everyone underneath it. And then they were like, "Go and have some food, ready for the absolute final kick-in." I was like, "We go home now."
Like, there's more.
So the final kick-in was the best part of it. So we literally, so I thought I was going to die because we had our clothes on. We had a synthetic t-shirt and swim shorts underneath, then the wetsuit, and then the wetsuit jacket, and then all the clobber again, like those camo trousers and the blue jumper. Walk up a hill. At this point, I'm like, I'm cooking slow cook on a 65-degree bake right now. And then it's all downhill. So we did gill scrambling, which is kind of like where you're going over and down rocks and all through some bits of water and stuff like that. But it's mainly climbing and sort of making your way down through like loads of rocky, slippery stuff. And then we did the bouldering and canyoning. So there's a massive stream, fast water stream that runs through the crevice of the rock face. So you're jumping in water. There's bits where you've got to abseil down to the next bit into a massive lake where you just kind of drop in. And then they're like, "Oh, look, would you look at that? We shortened the rope. You just got to literally just let go there at the bottom and just fall into water." And then again, I think there was like three sets of abseiling through the canyoning, and then loads of bits where you had to jump into the water. There was one bit, I didn't do this because I was like, "Look, I'm not being funny. I've just watched everyone do that and I'm out." So honestly, man, there's no way. So you go backwards. He goes, "Right, just turn around, face your head down that way." And as you're about to slide down, he grabs your leg and fucking waterboards you, and then just flies you into the water. I was like, "No, I can't do that. No, I'm not having that. Just literally just getting waterboarded, punishment, and then launched into that." I was like, "Nah, not having that." And then there are a few bits, man. It's like, it's scary, like, because it's like literally proper to like your body. It's amazing how quickly your body will stop you from doing something. There was one section where you had like a gap. I'm sure it felt like it was about that wide. And they're like, "Yeah, you just got to launch through that and belly flop on the other side." I'm like, everything in my body just says, "Don't do that." Like, I'm not there going like 1, 2, and I'm there and I'm like, no. I'm going to break a knee if anything like that happens, it's going to happen to me. So that started going through my head, and I started literally.
It's all in your mind, Danielson. It's all in your mind. It's not your body holding you back. It's your mind.
It's amazing how quickly my mind would pull my body back and just be like, no.
Your brain is designed to keep you alive, Dan. So it does its work on days like this, certainly.
Yeah, it was buzz. Wholeheartedly recommend it. Like as a lads trip away, we went up on the Friday, and we got a bit of a brucey as well because they messed up the booking. and they sent the confirmation. We were like, can we just double check that Monday is genuine? Because we thought we were leaving Sunday. So they were like, oh yeah, sorry, our mistake. We can have Sunday night for free. So we were there for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, which was really nice. But obviously, we were like, yeah, we'll just chill down on Sunday, ready just to glide out on Monday. No, well, there's all the Courvoisier and the Johnny Walker and the leftover beer left to finish. And so today I'm now in that point of like, well,
survive till 5, Dan. That was my motto. Survive till 5. But also, I don't want to get this all wrong with the timings and stuff, but you're probably not in the right frame of mind for this. But we have very soon got the London Craft Beer Festival coming up, where you have to drink with me for 2 days solid, non-stop. Boom! You're probably going to hate that. Dan, I loved your story. I did not have any idea that you'd been on an extreme fitness boot camp army SAS survival thing. I thought you'd gone for a little paddle down the river, maybe a bit of an abseil. So that is phenomenal. My story, in comparison, is absolutely rubbish. Many, many years ago, I went to Wales. I think it was Bala, a little place called Bala or something. Did a bit of whitewater rafting, and I really, really loved the whitewater rafting. When there's 6 of you or so on a boat, and then you got the main guy, doing the rudder at the back. Really exciting adventure, interesting stuff. If you like water and that, I've always grown up liking water sports. We did water skiing when I was a youth. But I think one of my stories was we went to do whitewater rafting once, and there wasn't enough water in the river. There wasn't enough flow. So they said, we're going to do gorge walking. And I was like, oh, God, it just sounds rubbish. Just like what, walking? Like, what even is a gorge? I don't want to do a walking holiday. I want to get on a raft and do some hardcore paddling. And we did this gorge walking, and it was actually really cool. It is like, going down a little wormhole. I don't know if you did that, but some natural holes are created from water. They go down into the river, and they're really tiny. And all that stuff scares me a lot. And anything that scares you is quite worth doing. It's an experience. But we did that. We did the abseiling. We did like jumping into a massive plunge pool. And that was quite a shock when you jump into cold water. It's like you can't breathe, and it's the one thing you need to do is not panic, breathe out, and then try and stay afloat. So that was quite interesting. I thought you were doing all that sort of stuff, which you've done elements of, but I didn't know there was a massive fitness thing to it. I did actually also, I went years ago over to Austria. This was one of the best holidays I ever had. And it was to a place called Zell am See, and it's Austrian for on a lake or something like that. And it's a beautiful topography because you've got a lake that's filled by a glacier. So over there, you've got mountains that have got snow on. So you can snowboard and you can do all the brilliant stuff that Snowy Mountain provides. But down here, you've got a lake, so you can do water skiing. All the way around the lake, you can, ride a horse, ride a bike, do that sort of stuff. And then on the other side is mountains without the snow, where you can do paragliding, and we did tandem paragliding. So like in a sleeping bag next to like the pros flying the thing, and you get off and go around. So there was just so much to do on that holiday with the whitewater rafting and jumping in these bits. So I really, really did. I mean, that was, God, that might have been 20 years ago now, but I really, really loved that. And I remember actually with the paragliding, I said to he's like, "Yo, you enjoy this?" And I'm like, "It's a bit boring, isn't it?" Because it's quite relaxing. I was a 20-year-old lad, but it's just like floating really slowly down. Like, it's a bit boring, isn't it? He goes, "You want to do some moves?" I'm like, "Yeah, go on then." He starts doing this stuff, Dan, right? And it turns out when we get to the bottom, and I'm nearly being sick, it turns out he's a world champion stunt paraglider or something, right? And he's been doing nice spins and stuff with me like that. And I'm like, yeah, that was more exciting, but I literally nearly threw up. But my best and worst and scariest story was when I went to Spain on holiday once, and a couple of us went to go and do some adventure stuff. And the laws are different over there. In England, you can only jump from so high into the water. And it's a bit more health and safety and stuff, and they've got the right gear on and that. This one we went to, I think it was something silly like 15 meters high or something. And I'm sure, I don't know the actual facts. I think like in the UK, you can jump from 11 meters or something. But in Spain, they didn't care. You could do 15. And I jumped off this 15. Not everybody did it. A couple of us did, and a load of people didn't. Jumped off and jumped into the water, and the water hit me so fast. It like hit my face and that, and it opened my eye. And I thought, I'm dead, because it took us ages to get to where this place was. You know, you trek through a jungle for days to get there. It weren't that long, but there's no phone signal, and there's no hospital around the corner. And I actually thought I was like, shit, like some of this stuff is quite dangerous, but it was quite exhilarating and fun to jump in, but I did not jump in from height ever again after that. My eye was all right, but it was one of them where you sort of do it and then you're floating up to the surface and you're thinking, oh my God, I hope my eyeball is still in my face. And I was all right. But be careful, kids. I tell you, actually, talking about kids, look at me waffling on. Talking about kids, I remember when I did one in Wales, it was ever so funny because we had helmets on and we've got a bit of string around us and we've got a life jacket. You jump into this plunge pool that's about like 10 foot or something. There's a guy on the other side who's got the rope, so you fall in, it's freezing, but he pulls you out basically. And you're doing all this in a group of 20 of you and you've all paid loads of money to do it. And then literally 200 yards up the river, you've got like 5-year-old Welsh kids just launching themselves off 20 foot higher than you are and just going head first into this stuff. And you're like, wow, they're hard kids around here.
Well, that's the thing though, when you grow up with that as a kid though, isn't it? Because you've never actually connected that link between the fear.
Yeah.
So you just do it. So there isn't that, you kind of, you know that you're okay, you know you've done it, and it is a confidence thing. So like, I would like to do it again and actually push myself through some of the stuff that I didn't quite manage to do, because I regret it, but at the same time, like it just wasn't going to happen. But I recommend it for anyone. Like the best thing for me as well, like I was sitting there kind of as I was processing the weekend of events, it was like so many of our different podcast episodes came into play because there was alcohol. There was definitely food to be had.
There's always food, Dan. There's always food.
Oh, we had a gas barbecue, so we had like a mega barbecue.
Here we go.
On, like,
Here
Saturday.
we go.
We even had a roast dinner on the Sunday. Like it was absolutely mega. And the thing is as well, the biggest thing for me was I made a point when we went on this adventure thing. I was like, I'm leaving my phone in the car. Like nice. I don't want to have any access to it. I don't want to check it throughout the day. So I didn't have my phone for the whole period for about 9 o'clock in the morning.
All weekend when we're doing this podcast. I'm doing the podcast.
Why's Dan not responding to me? And even during the stay, like my phone, at a few points I was like, oh, I actually don't know where I put my phone. Whereas I usually always know where my phone is. The only thing I really looked at was the fantasy football score results throughout the weekend just to check. Great start to the weekend. And yeah, it was nice just to not have to worry too much about my phone, which was really nice. So from a point of mental health, fitness, health, body, needed the break, with the mates I haven't seen for ages. It was an absolutely wicked weekend. I mean, we've all vowed that we want to do that at least once a year. Just come together as an 8 or start bringing more people in and just do it at least once a year. It's so valuable. Damo for shows. Enjoy the Beardmail.
For those of you that are listening on the Spotify, I just put my hand up rapidly. I'm like, I'm in. Put my name down. That is my goal.
Man. We could even set up. We could even do like the Beardmail bad boys out.
Extreme confidence building. Get yourself breathing. Get down to your pants.
I think it was £99 each. Like it wasn't even like.
Mate, it sounded like it was going to be like £1 million.
That's what I mean. Like for what they did, it was really good. I mean, because there was 8 of us and 3 people that led the group. So when you break it down with
was it Ant Middleton and other SAS specialists?
No. Actually, can't remember all of their names. Really bad of me, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lee was the leader. He was the big Geordie SAS, former SAS kind of guy who just kicked the shit out of us. Nice.
So was he actually ex-SAS, or he couldn't tell you?
He probably didn't. He probably said he was a fireman.
You were guessing that he was.
Yeah. He looked like. I mean, to be fair though, I wouldn't want to mess with him.
No. Well, you wouldn't even want to jump through a little thing and get waterboarded. So it's not like you're the bravest man in town, Dan.
No, biggest guy there, biggest pansy in the group, sure.
The only time it's not good to be big, Dan, is when you go caving. I went caving once in Cheddar Gorge, and got there and realised, well, this is for kids, small kids. This is not for grown men. I actually went on this caving thing where you literally go crawling on like that. I got stuck, and if you get stuck, the worst thing to do is panic. Because when you panic,
you expand.
You breathe in and then you get bigger. And literally what you have to do is breathe out and just like pull yourself through. But they were all in front of me and they all just buggered off. And I was like, well, that's it. I'm going to die. I am literally 400 miles under the ground, stuck on my own, stuck in this thing. There's no one coming to save me. And it's an horrific experience. So that's the time to not be big, Dan. Other than that, be big.
Oh, I definitely learned that I need to lose some weight and improve my fitness overall after that, because I'd like to go back a year later and don it. Like, I genuinely thought I was going to die on the climb up. When we were climbing up to get to the start of the gill scrambling, I honestly thought I was going to have a heart attack. Like, I was so tired.
The thing is, Dan, if you don't do this sort of stuff regularly, it's a massive shock to your system. And I've noticed this, general level of fitness does deteriorate. You have to keep on top of it so much. But I'm going to throw this out there, spanner in the works. I think there's been so much going about with COVID and stuff that people have lost stuff. As people talk, they mentioned it last week, someone saying about long COVID. I was with a lot of ex-army guys last week. I was on a film shoot. They were playing security guards, but they've all been Afghan and Gulf War and whatnot. And so they usually all have a massive, decent level of fitness. And they said that, they all of them, it's in their nature, it's in their blood, it's what they do. They love to go hiking, they love to go walking, they love to do all this stuff. But their stamina has been hampered massively. And I think there's a lot of stuff about. Have you had COVID in that?
I genuinely think I have got long COVID. Like, I've had COVID 3 times, and I think that it's definitely had a long-term effect on my respirational health, for sure. I think that's my biggest problem at the minute. It's the breathing. It's just being able to just keep the breath and just, I'm definitely suffering from that, I reckon.
If you want to make it a goal, Dan, bear in mind the World Championships are next year. Maybe we could jog to the World Championships. It's only Germany. It's not far. We could get fit. We could do Beardmail online fitness sessions. We could get fit, but I would love to do one of them things with you. Let's get the DBFC boys involved, and let's go and do an extreme army fitness, challenging, wet, cold. Was it nice weather there, wasn't it? Because that's the other thing. If you'd have done that,
no. So actually, it was nice for what we were doing. So it was probably about, when we were doing the activity, it was probably about 15 to 17 degrees that day. So we were lucky, because I could not have done that in 40 degrees. If we'd have done that in the heat wave, I would have died.
But conversely, you wouldn't have done it in the wet, cold winter either. No, you'd have frozen.
Probably would, actually, because you get hot. So even chucking yourself down the white water rafting, the wetsuits that we had were absolutely golden. They were so life-saving. Like, we had the 2-layer wetsuits on. So, I mean, I was hot. Like, even when you chuck yourself in the water, you're like, oh, yeah. I mean, I'm wet, but I'm not cold. I didn't feel cold at all. They did say, like, you're going to appreciate having all these layers on. Like, I know you're all dying now as we're all slogging up after a heavy night of drinking and smoking, probably, definitely.
Dan, I must say, right, for those of you listening on the Spotify, you're missing a treat here. But Dan's just leant back on the screen, right? And Dan, I think this has done you good, mate. You're looking pretty hench, mate. Give us a little. Just go back a bit. I tell you what, mate, that's done you the world of good. That has.
I know. I lost about 15 stone in. No,
mate, I think you have. I think you've trimmed up a little bit. You should do that every weekend.
If I did that every weekend, I'd be like fucking Bruce Lee. But one funny story, actually, before we come towards a close on this. Well, the guy who runs Keswick Adventures, his main job is in film set safety and like kind of stuff. And he was working on The Witcher.
Yeah, I'm trying to get on that as an extra.
Oh, linky. Hey, Lee, get in touch with Damo for show. He's
got the hair for it.
He said that because it's the guy who plays it. What's the Superman? What's his name? He's the Superman guy, isn't he? What's his name?
Christopher Reeves.
Is it not Christopher Reeves? That's the old one, isn't it?
Actually,
it is Christopher. It is. Oh, anyway, so he said that they were wandering around, can't remember what country they were in, or county they're in, and they came across like this old, like castle-y looking building, and he was like, "Oh, I want to go and have a look at that." And he was like, "Well, I'll be honest, it's probably full of it's probably a drug den. Like, it's probably somewhere where there's loads of skaggers sitting in there getting mashed up."
Let's get in.
He was like, "Oh, I just want to have a look." And as they walked through, they were right as well. There was graffiti everywhere and just like loads of rubbish and stuff like that. And he was like, he said, "What do we do if we come across like a couple of junkies?" He was like, "Do we run?" And he was like, "I think they'll be more freaked out that Superman stood in front of them than anything." And so it was a good crack, man. I think it's definitely worth it. I think overall it probably worked out about 350 quid. and that was including accommodation and beer and meat and stuff.
Mm.
So it wasn't the cheapest, but it wasn't like horrifically expensive. Like
what's the minimum people you need? What is it like? Do you need like a minimum of 4, or can you attach onto another group? Or
I think you could.
what I'm getting at is, can I go this weekend on my own? That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I think that they want to do more of that, where they want to do like a full on weekend thing where 8 people will come together, don't know each other. Some of the weekend stuff they do is actually savage. Like they will put black pillowcases over their heads, cable tie their hands behind their backs, and then when they're revealed, they've got guys stood there balaclavas and AK-47s.
Yeah.
And like
is this a sex thing, or did I just go down in different? My brain just went.
Say again.
Is this a sex thing? Because when you just explain that,
you got funny thinking, hang on a minute, that's like my casual Friday. And then they chuck you on a rib boat, and then just take you off to an island in Scotland and just dump you off and go, right, see you Sunday. Well, they're there for safety and whatever, but you're on your own. Like, go and fucking survive.
Do you know what? The human, I know we should wrap up really, but the human brain and our survival instinct is really cool. And you know what? We don't do enough exciting stuff. I love all that stuff, right? But we don't do enough of it. If you go to work all the time and you're in an office and everything's safe, and you come home and everything's safe, and it's not like you're missing a trick. Your body and your brain is designed to do really cool stuff. I once did an escape room in Bristol, and it was in an old court, old prison, old something or other. You go downhill, but they literally put the Hessian bag over your head. You're handcuffed behind or front, I can't remember. They take you down into these cells. They whack you in the cell. There's 2 of you, me and my mate Stinky. They're locked in the cell, and then they go and you have to like try and get yourself out. And then you get yourself out, and you find there's like a little torch on the floor, and you can't see anything because it's pitch black. You find the torch, you flick it on, and you still can't see anything because it's all smoke and fog and that. So you know when you like shine a light on fog, it's like shit. Well, they could do anything to us. Like literally trapped in this, cage, and that's my experience of having a bag over my head and being handcuffed. But yeah, it's exciting stuff. Dan, that sounds like right on my street. I'd love to do something like that, and obviously you've gained a bit of fitness out of it. So and that's a nice memory. It's a bit of hangover. You'll be fine. You'll be fine by Wednesday. You need to be fine by Friday.
We'll be fine by Friday. I can't actually wait for Friday. I think the nice thing is if we don't go in until after we've checked in, that means we'll miss the first couple of hours of drinking on the Friday, which will probably be for the best.
For you, I'm getting there. As soon as I get on the train at 9 a.m, I'm on it, mate. I'll be.
I don't start drinking then. One of the ideas I had, just talking about experience days, we could actually. I'd love to do this. Is whenever I'm driving, sometimes you see the old abandoned service stations.
Yeah.
You've got like the little shop bit there. They've got to keep there for like 20 years or something because of the petrol. They can't use it for anything else. That's why you just see them abandoned and never used. Take over one of them and do a zombie experience, an overnight zombie experience.
I've done that, but I was a zombie, and they're brilliant. They do them all over. They're more and more popular now, and at Halloween it gets even more popular. But scare fests and zombie experiences and stuff like that, I love all of that stuff. There's one you can do in Nottingham when you stay in the woods. So set up your own tent and that, and you're there all weekend. The one I did where I was a zombie was in Leicestershire, and it's at a disused prison. I've been there actually on a riot. I can't remember what it's called now. I want to say Ashby something. God, years ago, but it's an abandoned prison. They had a riot there, smashed it all up and that, so they don't use it anymore. But it's used for paintball and these experiences. And people pay like £100 and they sleep over in the prison at night. But then zombies come and get them, and there's loads of different things that happen, and they have to survive all weekend. Mate, I love all of that. There's even one. In fact, it popped up in another group the other day. There's one I've done in Essex. It's in an old nuclear bunker, and you actually get guns that are real looking guns, but you only shoot like air out of them. But the zombies are actors, and if you shoot them, they go. And it's all dark and all that. But you can also, I don't know if they still do it. They used to do it. There's one where you go around and you're actually allowed to like whack them, like you're given a shield, and it's like a real physical. And the zombies they get as actors are like hard as fuck, and you are literally allowed to fight them and like hit them with stuff, which would be the ultimate thing. Because when I did this zombie experience in Essex, I knew that they're not going to touch you. They're not allowed. It's health and safety. They're not actually. It's scary because they jump out of nowhere, but they're not. You're not actually at harm. For other people that they haven't got the same brain as me, they were shitting themselves. But for me, I'm like, nothing's going to actually happen. They can't actually touch you. But there are some where the zombies can actually get you, and you can actually hit them back on that. So Let's do some research.
Cool.
Let's do some research for Halloween, Dan. Let's go. Let's make £1 million and go and do cool stuff every weekend. Let's be like, who's that really rich guy with the beard? Dan Bilzerian. He could do that every weekend. Anyway, we've got to wrap up, Dan. We've got to wrap up. It's 35 minutes done. We've talked about adventure holidays. We've come up with some brilliant new topics for new podcasts. Zombies, Halloween, Mr. Pumpkin, which is cool. So I hope you recover swiftly, Dan. I'm proud of you, mate. I'm proud of you for all that you did. And honestly, you look hench, mate. So keep it up.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Just before we do sign up real quickly, just a big shout to James Mace, top of the lead aboard of Beardmail League, Adam Westbury in second, and Gareth Allsop joint second there.
Where am I? Gaz Allsop joint. Say, where am I? Am I down the bottom? Last
you are 12th. Joint 12th with Chris Blakemore, solid 46 points.
Nice. 12th out of 500. So if you want to join the Beardmail Fantasy Football League, go and check it out. If you can do better than me, you're laughing. Dan's going to throw some prizes in, I think, if you do well. So keep your eyes on that. And also give us a little watch, subscribe, like, share, and all that jazz. There's some good stuff coming. Get on our website, which is
www.beardmail.co.uk.
Get on that because there's some cool new stuff happening very, very soon. Have a lovely weekend. It's Wednesday morning for you guys listening. We're off to the Beard Festival. We might do some live stuff from the Beard Festival. Could be messy, could be fun. We'll see you all soon. Bye-bye for now.
Thanks for listening, guys. Take care.
See you in a bit. Bye for now.